This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Timing of this is odd. You know, for many years, and people have made fun of me and tried to act as if I'm just goofing around, and I've been very serious about it since day one. And you're still going to laugh at me about this when I have suggested more than once and even detailed. I don't want to build a wall or anything, but I've even detailed how it is that Austin, the city of Austin, could secede. And people have laughed, joking around. No, I've never been kidding around about this. I'm not denying it's complicated. And I'm not saying we don't have a whole lot of stuff to defend ourselves. But I've been pretty serious about it through the year. So the timing of this is odd. Now, it's a Friday, and I don't think people want to go through the nerdy diagnosis of something. But I just finished reading an incredibly disturbing but accurate piece. And the title of this is Rural America Becoming a New Confederacy? And the answer, of course, is yes. Yes. And that's not a joke, and that's not sensational. On practically every metric, the answer is yes. And it is disturbing. I guess unless you're in rural America, which you think it's really cool, which is part of the disturbing part. So it's, we could talk about it. I don't know that people want to. I don't think people even want to go into that much detail, but it's a pretty awful explanation of how polarized things are. People say all the time, I've heard it for a long time, it's BS. We are not polarized on politics. We are not polarized by policy. We're not into policy at all. That's not at all what it's about. And I think once you peel away at it, most people know that. It is a culture war. It is a complete disconnect in every lifestyle way possible. It is not a fight about tax rates. We do not fight about tax codes or legislation. That's not it. We're hiding behind the reality of what this story is rural America becoming a new confederacy? Yes, it is. Proudly doing so, I might add. But put that aside. I've partially explained exactly what we're about to get into. Now, rural America, MAGA hats. It's pretty clear. Let's don't pretend that things are purple. They're not purple at all. We know exactly what the lines are drawn. We know what color is which side of whatever city versus rural. We know exactly how this thing is playing out. It's pretty black and white. So now MAGA hats want to split off. Not a joke. Things are going so well for you, you want to go it alone with all of your resources. Is that correct, MAGA hat? Okay. The most unhealthy parts of America want to leave the rest. Okay, great idea. You got a deal. Let's all take the deal because guess who, other than me, is first in the clubhouse to say, you know what, we want to split off. You know what? Go ahead. Knock yourself out. So you want to split red and blue. So you want to keep the most government subsidized counties in the United States. Good. Great plan. You want to be North Korea. Sorry. You want the coal mines. The rest of us keep technology. Is that the way this is going to work? I think it is. You want Kentucky and the coal mines. We want Austin and those buildings. You got a deal. You got a deal. So you're Uzbekistan. We're Austin, Boston, Dallas, Seattle, and New York. You get Mississippi. We get San Francisco. Deal. Let's close it now. You got it. Shake hands. Poke each other. Whatever you want to do, you got it. You go, take it. Take it. Take it. Do not call for a handout. Let's be clear about this deal. You want to make the deal. You want to split off. You want to go your own way. You're not calling because we're not going to have a wall. So you're not going to come back for a bailout, right? We're not giving any more handouts. So this is not a joke. This is exactly what people have said. A majority of Trump voters, I don't know. I do know how they arrived at asking the question, because it is becoming so clear the different worlds of urban versus rural. It is completely flipped on its head. Again, I'm not going to nerd out, but this story about is rural America becoming a new Confederacy is so accurate. Now, the reason why it's not just the South is because of the ability to communicate with like-minded people. We can sit in our underwear and we can rant and we can rage and we can join a group with anyone, anywhere. So it's not necessarily geographical in North and South. It is completely geographical, urban versus rural. Completely. Not just the South, although the South is plenty screwed up. That's where we are. And now MAGA hats say, we want to leave. Okay, you take that ivermectin and you go. You go right now. You head straight to Mississippi and you have a great time. We'll let East Texas be the capital of whatever country you're forming. You can have all of East Texas. It's all yours. Meth labs and all. Take it. A majority of this came out last night, and this is really disturbing. If you read this thing about is rural America becoming a new Confederacy, it is deeply disturbing. Spot on, completely accurate, exactly where we live today. And unfortunately, people are really proud about this. I used to say to people, it's not okay to be stupid. It's really not okay to be happy about being stupid. It's not cool. It's not a good thing. A majority of Trump voters want to split the country into red and blue halves, according to a new poll conducted by the University of Virginia's Center for Politics. While we're at it, we get to keep UVA too, right? Okay, we'll take it. We will take that college. Roughly 52% of people who voted for former President Donald Trump either agree or strongly agree that it's time to split the country. Oh my. Oh no. Have you looked around? You have. You've looked around. You think it's working out pretty well? You been to Odessa recently? Have you? Okay, it's all yours. It's all yours. And you're not going to get a handout. So that's the deal. Yeah, you used to laugh at me when I would say Austin should secede. It's just, that's it. But we're the capital. We're going to give up the capital. You know, we're going to move the capital to Texarkana. You take it. Take it. That's fine. We'll have some little office complex, some strip center. I don't know. Some coffee shop. What does it matter? It's really remarkable. I mean, isn't it? That's, and things aren't going to change. I mean, they're really not going to change because we can all sit in our underwear and super serve ourselves. I guess convince ourselves things are going pretty well. If you're in these MAGA areas, things are not going well, but I guess you think they are. So do it. Do it. So how does this break down? Here's how I think it has to work. Let's try to put this deal together. Let's move on and move on pretty quickly. We're all going to save some money. We'll take every municipality, because that's the way, if you read this story, is rural America become a new Confederacy. This is precisely how it breaks down. I don't think, I could look it up, I don't think Trump won any municipality above 750. Probably not even 500. But probably won every one of them of 100,000 or less. By far. So we'll take every municipality of 750,000 and above, and you get the rest. It's all yours. We're a tiny little place. A lot of cranes and buildings and stuff, but we're a tiny little place. You're a big place. You got a lot of space. So that means, by the way, no health care. We're not handing it out. No bailouts, no loans, none of that stuff, right? So in Texas, let's see how we split this out. This is not going to be too difficult in Texas. Some of you can pick the places you want. I'll do it for you, though. So we get Austin. MAGA hats get everywhere else but Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. Can we buy South Padre Island? We're going to buy Padre, okay? We'll buy Padre from you. We kind of like to have that. It's decent beach. We'll do that. You get Galveston, we'll take South Padre. How's that? Except for that health center that's there. We got to take that too because they want to leave. There. So, you got it? So in other words, I mean, really, it's so sad and disturbing. This is where we are. MAGA hats, I don't think I'm being dramatic here. You've already set up the drama by saying we want to leave. You want to leave and go where? Go to the meth lab? You want to become North Korea. You want to become North Korea. And you want everything else, every industry, every functioning industry to go elsewhere. All right. Got the deal. Anybody disagree? I don't know if there's something else. Do you really want Odessa? Do you want Lufkin? Would you like to get Texarkana? I bet not. You want Amarillo? I don't think anyone's taking Amarillo. You can have Amarillo. Take it. You got all this space to spread out and do some stuff. We'll take everything else, including Padre, and move along very quietly. John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce, now in all 50 states and several retail outlets as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to let this social media rock star chef walk us through 4 different sauces, and then I'll taste, and we'll tell everyone why they should buy. You can give the science behind these, and then I'll make the simple recommendation. Go to atxhotsauce.com. All right,
I don't think anybody's heard the website.
Yeah, I know.
About you, Jeff, but it is atxhotsauce.com.
I'll say
I got that one right.
45 times, atxhotsauce.com. So let's do it.
I brought 4 flavors here, and we're going to test your palate today.
Okay.
And I only brought 4 because I didn't think you could handle 5 or 6.
Yes,
probably a smart move. Yeah. And so the first one we're going to try here, it's called Beet Heat. And just like the name implies, it has beets in it. It's made with red Fresno peppers. Red Fresnos are red peppers that are they're hotter than a jalapeno and a little bit less than a serrano. So not super hot here, just a lot of really good flavor. So we're going to start with this one, and then we're going to move up the chain.
Okay. I've had the Beet Heat, but okay.
Yeah, we're going to try it though.
It goes well with a cab. All right, Jeff's savoring Beet Heat.
I'll even do it with you, so that should be all right. Now remember, it is hot sauce.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's hot sauce. Trust me, man.
Wait, is that one hot to you?
No. A little.
Yeah. The great thing with the fermentation process is you get a bunch of the flavor right up front.
Yeah.
And then the heat comes, but then it dissipates pretty quickly, especially with the red Fresnos. You know, this is not a very spicy one, but it is a very tasty one. Goes on great on sandwiches.
Beet Heat.
Beet Heat. B-E-E-T. Heat.
All right. Go to atxhotsauce.com.
That's right.
Protecting the career it's the obvious existence of your political heroes. And I know a lot of us would say, and I do borrow this a lot. This is important because you don't care. And this is so disturbing on every level. We have to have ownership of this. I mention it often. I don't know if it ever is as grotesque and in your face as these examples. And that's saying a lot. But that's how much liberty politicians have. That's how much liberty they have, that we've allowed them to have, that you don't care, that they'll break the law and stick it in your face and you still don't care. You don't care. So I'm thinking, all right, any one of us would do, politics is a career, and any one of us would do many of the same things to keep the career. If the career means that you're increasing your net worth by, somebody can document this. I suspect you can increase your net worth in politics by 25%, 50%, maybe 25% a year. All of us would want to keep the same career. That makes some sense. But you know where I don't think many of us would go? And maybe once we got in there and we became such slimy, immoral pieces of trash. Yes, I feel comfortable saying it. I don't think any of us could break the law to this extent, and not care at all. And be pretty proud about it, actually. I don't know. Maybe we would. Maybe, I don't know. How many years into politics do you become... Is a sociopath the right word? I'm not accusing them of killing anyone, not yet at least. So sociopath, is that the right term? What term would we use when you just don't care that you break the law and you stick it in the voter's face and say, what are you going to do? And the voter says, nothing. I love you. I worship you. Steal more from me. And I don't think steal is an exaggeration, by the way. I don't think there's any part of what I'm saying that is an exaggeration. Really not. But I wonder how many years in do you become, because many of these are right into, they're just new to politics and they're already stealing from you and very proud of it. And you seem to be pretty proud of it too. But for most decent human beings, there's usually got to be some, let's talk about what's called a product life cycle, page 22 of your book. Product life cycle is an old school path that you follow a product, you follow innovation, and it goes through this sort of peak period and it dies off. So I guess if I wanted to create a immoral life cycle, let's get a graph out. What is the immoral life cycle once you go into politics? So, right, you got this entry phase where you assume most people want to be do-gooders. You want to do the right things, but then that curve starts to go, your net worth starts to increase, you're being exposed to money, you're being exposed, and then there's a point there which you become completely corrupt. You are a mafia member. I wonder where that is on the life cycle of being in politics. I don't know. Chart it sometime. It seems to be getting quicker and quicker because a lot of these who are committing the crime, the grotesque crime that you don't care about, are doing it right away. So I think that life cycle is actually, like most innovations now, it penetrates pretty quickly. I'm amazed at how little people care. I really am. I'm even shocked. I don't even think people think there's anything wrong with it, which is what's equally disturbing. Not an exaggeration again. There cannot be a more grotesque example of insider trading. And I mean the volume of in-your-face insider trading. The grotesque level of this is that you're so immoral and such a sociopath. I'm not even going to say neglectful because I don't think they care. I don't think they care at all because you don't care. You really don't. But you're making law. You are part of legislation. And you're trading the stocks knowing all of that. There is no greater grotesque example of insider trading than that. There's really not. I mean, there's insider trading, you might find some gray area. You're kind of stupid if you do, but you might find some little gray area here. There's no gray area to, wait, you're passing law on the stocks you're trading? Man, that's pretty in your face. They don't care, and you don't care. Media organizations care. They report about and are reporting about a problem that is bigger than ever before, which used to be a pretty gigantic problem, and you still don't care. The system for the rest of us is supposed to be having, and I know unfortunately people hate the market. And you find everything corrupt about it. And there's issues, no doubt. But the system, the market system, the trading system that we live in is supposed to be about having equal knowledge because for every seller, there's a buyer. And that's pretty important. It really is. So the system for the rest of us is that. And I think most people try to follow it. And what is amazing is you hate on CEOs. You really do. You hate on CEOs, but not the politicians that flaunt and break the law and take advantage of their position. This is good work by news organizations and an embarrassment for voters. This should embarrass you. You should care. All right. Not only are they getting away with insider trading, grotesque levels of insider trading, they're willingly and knowingly and happily breaking the very laws they pass for themselves. Here you go. 35 members of Congress have violated a law designed to stop insider trading. They don't care. F you, voter. F you, lazy voter. Yahoo News. Good work, by the way. Good work. You've done your part. It's not your fault. Everyone else is idiotic. It's not your fault. 35 members of Congress have failed to report their financial trades as mandated by the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act of 2012, known as the Stock Act. The law put in place for themselves that they happily violate and no one cares. And nothing will be done, and not one person, I'll bet you a good bottle of Dow, not one person will lose re-election, even though they have violated the law that would get you in an orange jumpsuit in a heartbeat. You'd go to jail. They'll get reelected. Congress passed the law in 2012 to combat insider trading. All right. You don't get this light treatment. This wouldn't happen to you. When I give you the examples, the grotesque examples of the millions of dollars they're trading. While lawmakers who violate the Stock Act face a fine, the penalty is small. $200 is the standard amount. Or any punishment whatsoever can be waived by House or Senate ethics officials. You go ahead and try this and see if you get $200. All right, so let me just run down a list of some of those that are doing this. There's 35 identified. There are both political stripes, of course. How about this one? First of all, here's what a piece of trash. This guy, first of all, is a complete moron. He's an absolute moron. His name is Tommy Tuberville. I believe he just got elected, and he's already cheating and doesn't care and will get reelected. Tommy Tuberville, Republican from Alabama, and he's a moron. 130 separate stock trades from January to May. What an embarrassment he's become. Rand Paul, 16 months late in disclosing that his wife bought stock in a biopharmaceutical company that manufactures an antiviral COVID-19 treatment. Now, for people that listen and think, well, what's the big deal? You are a fool. It is a big deal. They're sitting there learning things that you don't know. Okay? You don't know many of these things. They know them ahead of you. Now, you may try to buy these stocks. You may take the risk to get the reward. They're not only just sitting there knowing things that you don't know, they're passing legislation on these very stocks they are trading, and it's against the law. And no one cares. Rand Paul had dozens of trades. Here's Tom Malinowski, Democrat from New Jersey. Pat Fallon. You know what I bet? Pat Fallon from Texas. I bet Pat Fallon is reelected. I bet he's reelected easily. Not one person will care that Pat Fallon from Texas will get reelected, because stuff like election audits matters. Stuff like breaking the law, knowingly breaking the law, flaunting that you're breaking the law does not matter. Let's see. Dozens of stock trades by the great Pat Fallon from Texas. How about this? $17.5 million in trades. Hey, Pat, where'd you come up with that kind of money? $17.53 million in stock trades while in office during early and mid-2021. You know what should happen if we gave a flip about managing? There should be no trades while you're in office. There should be none. Zero. None. He had almost $18 million in trades. Then there's, let's see. Oh, this lady's my favorite here. Her name is Diana. There's 35 listed. Again, Democrats and Republicans. Diana Harshbarger, Republican from Tennessee. Here's a perfect example. She had 700 trades. Got it? 700 trades while in office. Oh, but Jeff, how do you know all of them are corrupt? Because you're not supposed to be doing it? How about that one? You know what would happen to any one of us, any one of you? Let's say you didn't disclose $1,000, $5,000 that you charged for personal use to your company. And I know it happens. I know. And maybe sometimes you get away with it. But what if somebody knew at your company, $5,000, not $18 million, not $18 million. What if somebody found out? What would happen? Okay. $18 million in trades in less than 6 months. So here's another perfect example of what is insider trading and what is sinister and scummy and it would get you in a jumpsuit. So Diana Harshbarger from Tennessee, she had 700 stock trades that went from $728,000 to $10.9 million. She didn't disclose these until she was caught. And then even then, no one seemed to care. Early January and June of 2021, they involved dozens of stocks and dozens of companies, some of which vie for federal contracts or spend 6 or 7 figures to lobby for favorable laws and regulation. By the way, she's a first-term lawmaker, so that whole curve I told you about of when do you become a slimy piece of trash, it's really short. You go right into office and start breaking the law because the taxpayer doesn't care. Media cares, taxpayers do not care. I don't know why people aren't bothered by this stuff. Man, when a CEO does it, you flip out and they suck and you everything wrong with corporate America, but nobody wants to get worked up about this. I'll bet you she's reelected. I bet she talks a lot about transgendered athletes and voting audits and MAGA hats. I bet she gets reelected easily. She's a first-term lawmaker and member of the House Committee on Education. Okay? She also traded tens of thousands of dollars worth of shares in Chegg, C-H-E-G-G. If you have kids, you probably know about this. That's an education technology company. In other words, I don't know that Chegg did anything wrong. I don't know that. I know that she did. She sits on a committee of which they are involved. So she knows what's going to happen with the business, and she and her slimy aides make trades on it before you know. There's no better example of insider trading than that. How about that? And by the way, just to let you know that would your company hire someone, let's say, that was guilty of fraud? Would you? I bet not. 2013, her husband was sentenced to 48 months in federal prison for knockoff Chinese-made drugs, not approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Just so you know the law, members of Congress have 30 days from when they become aware of a stock trade to formally disclose in a certified report. That shouldn't even happen at all. There should not be any trading at all while you're in office. But even the 30 days, they don't follow. They just gave you, I can give you 35 examples of them violating the law that they made for themselves, and not one of them will lose re-election.
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.